Welcome back to Coach's Corner. I'm your host, Corey King, and I'm here with RSU men's head coach, men's golf head coach, Steve Brown. Coach, how are we doing today?
We're doing great, Corey. How are you?
Oh, I'm fantastic. Anytime I get to sit down with you, Steve, it is always an honor and a privilege to do so.
But it is almost daily, so.
What people don't know is that Coach Brown and I share offices. Well, we don't share offices. We're
neighbors.
Yes, offices neighbors. Yeah. And it's a truly a beautiful thing. But we're not here to talk about us being neighbors.
No.
We're here to talk about your team and, recap last year, starting with last year. You guys had an opportunity to get a berth in the Central Regional, and you also had an individual, Elliot Hahn Montremal, being able to qualify for nationals. Talk about that last year in your season and ending it on a very high note.
Yeah, it was a high note. We went to the regionals. We hadn't been in a couple years, so it was really good to do that. And we started off. We had a really rough first day at the regional. Just didn't really get settled in. But the final two rounds, we were one of the best teams out there, and I think we finished 10th or something. But the last two rounds, we shot 6 under. And 6 under made it to nationals. So it kind of showed the capabilities of our team. And then Elliot making it to nationals was just awesome. I mean, he deserved it. He worked so hard, and it was really a pleasure to go back to nationals and watch him. And he for the most part, he played really well, and learned a lot. As you can see from this year, he's playing spectacularly.
He has had a phenomenal fall, and we will definitely be able to talk about that later on in this conversation. But coming into 24-25 season, 5 of your 8 student athletes are international student athletes. And actually this week being International Student Athlete Week is perfect. Talk about what is it like to have so many different types of cultures on your team and having to help blend that into the RSU culture.
It's a lot of fun, when you see the guys from Spain and France and Australia and England, and they're all, hanging out with the guys from Nawada and Broken Arrow and Coweta and doing things like, they'll go out this time of year, they'll go hunting and with them, and so it's really a wonderful thing to see, like the cultures. Get to know each other. Yeah.
I love that RSU has that little bit of a melting pot energy around the campus with so many different types of students from all kinds of cultures all across the world, and being able to bring them here and bring them and call it home here in Claremore. It's definitely a beautiful thing. But with that, you have 2 newcomers on your team this year. Both of them are international students with Colin Brown and Miguel Mora. Talk about what these 2 young men bring to your team this year.
Well, they bring talent for sure. Callum's played really well the latter half of the fall season. Miguel played really well the first half of the fall season. But they're both, I have to say, they're both exceptional ball strikers. Callum is really good off the tee and with his irons, and Miguel is one of the best long iron hitters I've seen. And so, it's a little bit of a learning curve when you come in and you play college golf. It's a lot different than high school or just playing individual golf. So, they're catching on pretty quick. And there's also different grass. Callum had to come over here and learn how to play on Bermuda grass, where he doesn't have any of that at home. So there is a bit of a learning curve, but they're doing really well, and they're both very funny and good to be around, so we're very happy to have them on the team.
And it's been awesome getting to know these young gentlemen and seeing them interact with their teammates, especially with the team that has been with you for quite some time with a lot of your returners. But it seems as if they have been immersed into the culture seamlessly, and that's always great to see. But it also starts with your senior leadership, starting with Elliot Hahn Montremal, as obviously we've already just talked about him, but he has finished top 5 in his last 4 fall tournaments. Talk about what you've been most impressed with Elliot.
With Elliott, I mean, just his emergence as I mean, I always kind of knew that he was going to be one of the best to play here. I mean, from day one, and I've told him that from day one. But he just really kind of has emerged these last 2 years with his game and as a leader. But it's mainly just he doesn't really hit the ball much differently than he did when he first arrived, but just his thought process and his calmness on the golf course and his confidence mainly. When you watch him, I mean, it's like watching a guy out on tour, because he just doesn't, he's patient, he just stares down his shots and he never gets rattled. And that's what it takes. And it's shown, this year right now, he's top 50 in the nation. And I suspect by, if things go his way, I know he's going to work hard. He should get down probably top 30 by the end of the year. So it'll be fun to watch. Either whatever happens, he'll be fun to watch.
It is a true honor. Obviously, he's a dear friend of mine, and being able to chit chat with him about the year and how well he's doing. But we can't be remiss and not talk about the other returners coming into this
Sure.
year. Obviously, this team looks a little bit different than what it did last year from your Central Regional starting five that you sent.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about some other returners that are going to have to take a big step forward if we want to return to the Central Regional.
Right. Yeah. It's going to be we've got a long haul ahead of us to get back to the regional tournament, but we can do it. Tyler Collier is a great player. Had a really good summer. Has been a little inconsistent with his rounds, but I know that he'll work hard over the winter, and I'm expecting great things from him in the spring. Same thing with Jack Roach had a really good the final tournament, Tulsa Cup. I mean, Elliott had a phenomenal round. Jack had a great round. Jack shot 2 over in 45-mile-an-hour winds when the average score that day was over 78, and he shot 74. So that is a fantastic round. But with Tyler and Jack, and then with Perico is really hitting the ball well. He's getting off the tee phenomenally. Caden is a really good team leader. He always leads by example. Same thing with Maddox. So it's just been, we have a really good nucleus. They work very well together. So I think if we can just, with a little bit of luck, I know they'll work hard. So it should be fun. It'll be fun in the spring.
All great teams need a little bit of luck.
You got to have a little bit of good fortune.
Have a little bit of luck.
Yeah.
But we didn't have, you talked about the Tulsa Cup and the treacherous conditions that we had with the 40-mile-an-hour winds. But our season didn't start exactly where we wanted to, but we ended it on a very, very high note in the fall with winning the Tulsa Cup. Talk about that late surge that we had to secure that win.
I wouldn't say it was late. I would say it was a very late surge. the sixth tournament of the season. It was just, the team just really. We had a good week. We had we had a recruit out who really enjoyed being with the guys, and we just had some really fun days leading up to the tournament. And we knew that the wind was going to blow, so which is kind of like, if it rains or if the wind's blowing or if it's cold, whatever, then a lot of times half the field quits. So, and I don't know if that's what happened this time, but we knew that, and we knew that if we just put our nose down, and just really grinded out some good scores, decent scores, that we would have a chance. And that's what happened. We just hung around and played tough. The guys played just really tough, and it worked out for us. But it was great to end on a high note because, Elliott had won a tournament earlier, and we had a couple of good team results, but not like we wanted. But to end with that was great. It was great.
It was great to see and be a part of, and obviously when you win at home, there's something special about that. But in particular, in those conditions, it made it even better.
Well, it's always like whenever you leave a golf tournament, It doesn't matter if you finish second or last. You always say, we could have beat those guys. We could have beat those guys. And it's always good to leave a tournament knowing that every team who's leaving is saying, we could have beat those guys.
Well, we're patiently, anxiously awaiting the 2025 season, spring season coming up. What are you, with these winter months coming up, and a little bit of a different from most sports where you have a fall season and then you have a winter season, then you have your spring season, which is your championship season. What kind of things do you do to help prepare your team during that winter season?
Well, sometimes it's tough, because of the weather, we can't get out a lot, but mainly, really, we've just been trying to work hard in the weight room, honestly. Get stronger, get bigger. With golf, it's like, do the weights help that much? Yeah, mentally. It's more of a confidence thing. If you're bigger, if you're stronger, then you're going to be more confident out there. And so that's what I'm really trying to get the guys to do, is just really work on their confidence and through the weight room.
And when you say the weight room, what kind of aspects, obviously it's a little bit different for most sports, what kind of aspects in the weight room do you guys work on to help grow these players?
Well, we work a lot with the lower body, because since on Mondays, the guys have to play 36 holes. So we work a lot with that. They have to have the stamina to go 36 holes, be out there walking 10, they'll walk 9 to 14 miles in the 10 hours that they're going to be out there. But, also upper body, just because the upper body makes you feel stronger. And if they feel stronger, they're going to be more confident.
Excellent. Well, Coach, what are you most looking forward to as we step into the spring season that is quickly approaching?
Oh, wow. We have a couple of good tournaments right off the bat. We go down to Houston for a tournament, and then we go fly out to South Carolina for a tournament. So I'm looking forward to, those are both good trips, but they're really good fields. And so, I'm looking forward to just having the guys come back and see where we are and seeing how we do. Seeing how we compare.
Well, Coach, we are anxiously looking forward to it and seeing what kind of run that we can make late in the year into the spring season. But for another edition of Coach's Corner for RSU Men's Golf Head Coach Steve Brown, I'm Corey King. Thank you for watching.